Hey there! Welcome back to Level Generator Part 2. Today we're gonna improve the spawn system. So let's not waste time and jump right into it. We create a new Scriptable Object class called Environment Object. This one creates a new asset menu, so you can create a new object right from the assets folder. So every object should hold a list of prefabs, a maximum amount, a bool value for random rotation, and a min and max for spacing and grouping. So to create a scriptable object, we can now simply go to any folder, right click and then create scriptable object and environment object. I already created two scriptable objects for trees and stones. And as I said, these scriptable objects are holding all the prefabs of one group, for example the trees. And they also hold the variables for this group, for example the max amount or the random rotation. So with these scriptable objects, we can customize our environment without touching the code. So all we have to do later is drag and drop our scriptable objects to our map generator, which holds a list of the environment objects. So let's see what have changed in our map object generator. We have now a list of environment objects and a new class, a PositionHelper. The PositionHelper is initialized by the vertices of our mesh filter, which I explained in the previous video. In the generateMap method, we go through all environment objects and spawn the objects based on our customizing. So down in the spawn objects method, it is pretty much the same as in the last video. We take the max amount of our environment object and get a random object and spawn it on a random position on the ground. But we keep a reference of the spawn object in the variable spawned. So to make the map more organic, we will build groups of objects. For this, we have the min and max group amount. So if the max group amount is greater than 0, we will make a random group around based on the min and max group amount. And for this, we use another for loop and spawn in child objects based on our previous spawned object. But we don't get a random position on the ground, we get a random position around our parent object. And at this point, let's see how the PositionHelper works. The PositionHelper is initialized by the vertice list. I explained this in the last video, so I don't get too deep in this. The important part is the getRandomPositionAround method. Here we pass in the position of our parent object and a min and max distance. Then we randomize if the position should be lower or higher and make a random range between the min distance and the max distance. We also do this for the Z value. After that, we check if there is a collision on this position. If so, we do the calculation again. To check if there is a collision on this position, we first have to get the layer mask of the layer object. Then sync all transforms and then draw a sphere around this position with the min distance. And because we don't want to stuck in endless calculation, we check the attempts for a new position. And if we can't find one in 200 attempts, we throw an exception, no free position, which is catched by our spawn object method. We also migrated the getRandomPointOnGround method from the last video and extended it with the same collision detection method. So back on the map object generator, you see that the try catch includes the whole spawning system. And we also have a safety method, destroy if not on ground. This one uses a raycast to check if the child object is above a ground. So to test the new version, let's check the old one. If we generate maps, there are no clearings between the objects, and the whole map looks like you can't find a path through it. But with the new version, you see some clearings between the trees and the stones. And even if we add more objects, the forest looks more organic. And another cool part of this version is, if we add objects before we generate the map, they will be recognized by our collision detection. So, there are a lot of things to add in this level generator. Tell us in the comments what you think we should add. So, I hope you learned something new today. Subscribe to watch more tutorials and I'm sure I see you in the next.